Hey and welcome to the Daily Arsenal News Show. Let's begin with our daily news. Mikel Arteta suggests that William Saliba has a chance of starting versus West Ham. Mikel Arteta has suggested that World Cup finalist William Saliba could play for Arsenal against West Ham on Boxing Day. Saliba went all the way to the biggest game in world football last Sunday, but he did not get onto the pitch in the 3-3 draw. His only action of the tournament came as a substitute as a rotated France side lost 1-0 to Tunisia in their final group match. Arteta faced the media before the London derby after Christmas and said that the 21-year-old would be able to play a part. When asked if Saliba could play, Arteta said, "Let's see. That depends on how he comes back as well. We have the data of what he's done in training, and in terms of the actual minutes, he didn't participate much, but it was a huge experience for him as well. Let's see. When he gets back, we'll make the decision. We have a lot of contact, but of course, it's different when he is on the phone and when he is present. Then we can talk to him directly and see how he is training, see how he is feeling, and get into the rhythm." Players like Saliba and Aaron Ramsdale, who went to the World Cup but did not play much or at all, provide a challenge for Arsenal. They have been training, but they will likely not be much fit. On the other hand, they will not be exhausted by a grueling World Cup. Saliba has been so important for Arsenal this season, and they need him to pick up where he left off before the World Cup. Mikel Arteta says Reiss Nelson is going to be out for weeks now. Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta has given a fitness update on winger Reiss Nelson after his injury against Juventus. Arteta faced the media before the Gunners returned to Premier League action against London rivals West Ham on Boxing Day. He was asked about Nelson and said it's not good news on the man who has forced his way back into Arsenal's plans of late. When asked about Nelson's injury, Arteta said, "I am talking about weeks, not a matter of days, but he will be out for a few weeks. Let's see how he reacts to the next few days, but he felt something straight away, and with sprinters that's not a good sign." The injury is not good news for Nelson, who is in the final months of his Arsenal contract and is pushing to try and earn a new one. Arteta has called Nelson special recently and put him in his first ever Arsenal starting 11 ahead of record signing Nicolas Pepe. His injury could only intensify the need for a new winger, which was already the priority for the January transfer window. Anyway, Arteta will need the full depth of his squad if Arsenal are to maintain their title challenge as they resume the season 5 points clear of Manchester City at the top of the table. Nketiah is a better goal scorer than Gabriel Jesus, says pundit. Danny Murphy has claimed on talkSPORT that Arsenal star Nketiah is much more of a goal scorer than their summer signing Gabriel Jesus. Mikel Arteta convinced the Brazilian to leave Manchester City for the Gunners in the summer. He has been magnificent in the red and white, and he's one of the biggest reasons why Arsenal are on top of the Premier League table. Jesus sadly is injured now, and that opens the door for Nketiah to shine. A report from Goal Brazil revealed earlier this month that Jesus is expected to spend about 3 months on the sidelines after undergoing surgery on his knee. That is a massive blow for Arsenal, who are now reliant on Nketiah to do Jesus' job week in, week out, as the Gunners battle to maintain their 5-point lead over Manchester City. Arsenal fans are worried about how the 23-year-old Englishman will fare in the coming weeks, but Murphy isn't really concerned. He feels Nketiah will score if he gets the chance, and even went on to claim that he is a better goal scorer than Jesus, the pundit said. Arguably, if Nketiah comes in, he is a different type of player, but he will score more goals. He is more of a goal scorer, but he doesn't have the other attributes that Jesus has got. But if you want someone to run about a lot and press and do all that, Nketiah can do that. Nketiah is yet to start a single game in the Premier League this season, but he is almost guaranteed to get the nod against West Ham United on Boxing Day. Nketiah was questioned towards the end of last season as well, when Alexandre Lacazette lost his shooting boots at Arsenal. The 23-year-old stepped up then, scoring 5 goals in the Gunners' final 7 league games, including a fantastic brace against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge in a 4-2 win. Nketiah is definitely not on a Jesus level yet, but he is still a very good player. He can cause the opposition defenders all sorts of problems with his pressing and physicality. And Arsenal fans will be hoping he can step up to be their main man until the Brazilian comes back. It will be interesting to see how Nketiah will fare in the coming weeks. If he does well, Arsenal could go on and achieve something really special this season. Matthew Upson says losing Gabriel Jesus is a big blow for Arsenal. Matthew Upson has told TalkSport that Arsenal have lost their best player of the ball, with Gabriel Jesus now sidelined with a serious knee injury. Jesus is facing several months out of the Gunners side. He suffered an injury while playing for Brazil at the World Cup, and he has now undergone surgery on his knee. Unfortunately, that means that the striker is seemingly out of the foreseeable future, and that is a massive setback for the Premier League leaders. Jesus has come in for criticism for not scoring enough goals for the Gunners, but there is absolutely no doubt that he has been an amazing signing for Mikel Arteta's side. He brings so much to the table, working so hard for the team, and it does appear that his presence has helped get the best out of the likes of Gabriel Martinelli and Bukayo Saka. Nketiah has taken his game to another level over the last year. However, it's a huge ask to expect Nketiah to fill the void that Jesus leaves behind. Certainly, Upson believes that Arsenal are going to suffer from not having Jesus available. He said the following: "The loss of Jesus for a period of time is a massive hammer blow because it all starts from that area on the pitch. It all starts from the front. I don't think they have got another player who is as good out of possession as what he is. It sounds daft. He is a center forward, but one of his main contributions to that team is how good he is without the ball." Nketiah is going to have a big opportunity. You would imagine that Arsenal would not reject the chance to sign another forward on the right terms next month, but clearly it's a hugely difficult time to try and strengthen. They need a player good enough to replace Jesus, but also willing to largely play a backup role when he returns. So Nketiah has a great chance to show what he can do with a solid run of games, but you could understand why many Arsenal fans will feel a similar way to Upson about losing Jesus. Arsenal now put off by Joao Felix asking price. Arsenal have been put off a move for Joao Felix by Atletico Madrid's asking price for the 23-year-old Portuguese forward, according to journalist Ben Jacobs on Twitter. Felix's future looks to be somewhat up in the air after a difficult time with Atletico. He has struggled to live up to expectations during his time in the Spanish capital, only showing glimpses of his special potential. His displays at the World Cup provided a little reminder of his quality, and with that, a host of clubs seemed to be interested in a potential January deal. 90 Minutes suggested that Arsenal had been offered Felix alongside with Newcastle and Chelsea. Meanwhile, the likes of Manchester United and Juventus are long-time admirers of the youngster. It was also suggested by Sport that it was the Gunners who lead the race for Felix. 90 Minutes, however, noted that Atletico want around £100 million for the forward. It was also claimed that an initial loan deal may be possible, and with that, some Arsenal fans may have hoped that they could be the ones to secure his signature. Unfortunately, it appears that Mikel Arteta is not expecting to sign Felix. Jacobs was asked about his situation during a Twitter Q&A, and he hinted that Arsenal are probably not the side to look out for in the race. Spending £100 million looked to be out of the question for Arsenal. They may have funds to spend, but he is not one of the names most heavily linked with the Gunners heading into January. A loan deal could have been a smart move, particularly when you consider the last young player the Gunners signed on loan from the Spanish capital. But Jacobs' update suggests that Felix is now unlikely to end up at the Emirates Stadium. What Barcelona insiders are saying about Arsenal potentially signing Ferran Torres. Arsenal are on the lookout for a new attacker following Gabriel Jesus' injury, and rumors have linked the Gunners with a move to sign Barcelona's Ferran Torres. The Spaniard, branded as a world-class player by Xavi Hernandez, joined the Catalans in January this year in a £55 million deal. He has played 44 times and has scored 12 goals in all competitions, but rumors are linking him with a move away from the Camp Nou already. Could he join Arsenal? Let's figure it out. Arsenal were dealt a huge blow earlier this month when Jesus suffered a knee injury. The 25-year-old hurt himself while representing Brazil at the World Cup in Qatar, and he had to undergo surgery. Goal Brazil reported a few weeks ago that Jesus is set to spend about 3 months on the sidelines. That is a massive blow for the Gunners, who could now dip into the transfer market to bring in some cover. Dean Jones revealed earlier this week that Arsenal really like Torres and genuinely believe he might become available in the January transfer window. He also claimed that the Gunners inquired about signing him last summer, but no deal materialized. However, the same journalist has now claimed that people at Barcelona feel this deal is unlikely to go through in January. Jones told Give Me Sport, "My personal feelings is that I can't see him leaving Barcelona yet. It seems like people in Barcelona seem to think this too. Is he really going to give up on a club like that so quickly? Probably not. But if he is told he doesn't fit in at all and he has to consider something else, then Arsenal's are a great backup plan right now." It was always unlikely that Torres would leave Barcelona after just 1 year. The Spaniard has played all but 2 games for the Catalans in all competitions this season. He has only scored 4 times, but he is still just 22 and has the potential to become a superstar in the coming years. Looking at a player of Torres' profile makes sense for Arsenal. He can play anywhere across the front 3, and his age and potential check all the boxes that the Gunners usually look for. However, we just can't see this happening anytime soon. Arsenal looking to sign Juventus midfielder Adrien Rabiot immediately. Arsenal are ready to try and sign Adrien Rabiot during the January transfer window, but La Repubblica reports that the Gunners are unlikely to be able to meet his hefty wage demands. Rabiot's future looks set to be a key talking point during the January transfer window. His Juventus contract expires at the end of the season, and it seems that the Juve hierarchy are divided over when to let the Frenchman leave. Juventus would like to net a fee for the 27-year-old. Meanwhile, Massimiliano Allegri would like to hold on to Rabiot for the rest of the season, even if that then means that he will leave on a free. He has been excellent this season. Reports from Corriere dello Sport on Wednesday claimed that Tottenham are on pole position to sign Rabiot, but it seems that they may face a battle with their North London rivals. In fact, La Repubblica is now reporting that Arsenal want to sign Rabiot immediately, and the old lady will sell Rabiot for around £13 million. There is an issue for Arsenal. The report claims that Rabiot is looking for a contract worth around £170,000 a week, and it is suggested that will be too much for the Gunners, but they hope to agree a deal for the midfielder. Certainly, it would be a surprise if Arsenal were prepared to offer Rabiot such a lucrative contract. Obviously, they will want to bolster their squad as they look to go on and win the Premier League title. The squad harmony seems to be absolutely perfect right now, so signing Rabiot on such a big money deal has the potential to be a real gamble. The transfer fee eliminates some of the risk, but Arsenal have been penalized for handing out such large contracts in the past, so surely they will be ready to walk away if Rabiot's representatives dig their heels in. Journalist says Arsenal are working hard to sign Mykhaylo Mudryk in January. Arsenal have been heavily linked with Shakhtar Donetsk player Mykhaylo Mudryk in recent months, and with the January transfer window looming, the Gunners have the perfect opportunity to swoop. There was talk of the Gunners swooping for the Ukraine international in the summer transfer window, and even though a move didn't materialize, Mudryk has made no secret of how much he likes Arsenal. Now Bennett Jacobs has revealed on Twitter that Gunners' talks over Mudryk are progressing. The CBS journalist said a January deal is very possible, with Arsenal prioritizing getting it done. The only potential sticking point is the transfer fee. Shakhtar previously said they want 100 million euros for Mudryk, while other reports mention a fee of around 50 to 60 million pound would be enough. Arsenal fans won't be unfamiliar with long, drawn-out transfer sagas. There have been plenty of those over the years. Many of those ended up being little more than speculation and petered out. But unlike many of those that seem to revolve around reports, this one involves the player and the club figures making public admissions. Shakhtar Vice Sporting Director Carlo Nicolini recently admitted Arsenal want Mudryk, and obviously the player himself has also gone public when it comes to speaking about the Gunners. Shakhtar Director of Football Dario Serna previously said Mudryk would cost 100 million euros. In response, the attacking talent issued a scathing reply in which he said he was very upset over what he felt was a prohibitive valuation. Mudryk has been sensational over the past 12 months or so. He certainly looks like he is ready for a big career move. The Gunners certainly have the advantage over other suitors, with Mudryk appearing so eager to join them. However, Shakhtar won't make it easy for them in terms of striking a deal. You can't blame them, as he is such a big asset for them. Arsenal really have the perfect opportunity to strike gold over the coming weeks. The Gunners must do all they can to sign the incredible player next month. I will be uploading daily Arsenal news show, so keep your eyes on the channel and don't forget to like and subscribe. I appreciate your support. Peace out.